Hello survivors, welcome back to another day of post-war hell. After sleeping the night in Permadeath farm, it's time for us to move on. We have stuff to loot and people and things to kill. So, I think I forgot to loot some of the areas in Concord, so I want to head over there and get some stuff that I forgot there. Number one, I forgot the Speakeasy Tavern, and I also think I forgot the Workhouse. There's not a lot in those, but there is some stuff, and it's free, so we might as well get it while we can. After that, I'd like to head down south, maybe into Lexington or into Cambridge. I think possibly the best way we can get into the metro system and head down towards downtown is going to be to go into Cambridge and then go in the metro system there. We can follow that line all the way into downtown metro. If we do a couple quests there, we should get access to the main city, and that will give us access to a vendor that will give us booze and a whole bunch of other good stuff. A lot of people don't even know that this Speakeasy Tavern exists. There is a building that's not marked. It's just in Concord here on the main street. As you're going up towards the Museum of Freedom, on your left you'll find just a random white door labeled Speakeasy. And if you go in here, you'll find lots of bottles and such. That's one of the reasons I came here, was for a bunch of bottles so I could make some dirty water, because I have a lot of food that requires dirty water to cook it. Unfortunately, I cooked all my current dirty water down into boiled water, so I want to collect those bottles as well as all the other stuff in here, and then go over to the workhouse.
Got it.
3 berry mentats. That is an extraordinarily good safe. I'm very glad I stopped over here. Berry mentats can be life and death. I mean, it's wall hack, right? You can see through walls and see where people are, which means you can line up your shop before you go around the corner and already have them in your sights. That is extremely nice to find. Not to mention they give 3 sanity, and if you pop this after you've already gotten a rank 3 Idiot Savant proc, you will then boost your intelligence for the duration of that Idiot Savant proc, which lasts for about a minute, which means you can get a whole bunch of experience. Basically, you get an Idiot Savant proc, then you raise your intelligence as high as you can go, and benefit from that Idiot Savant rank 3, and you get a whole bunch of experience.
Nice.
On the second floor of the Speakeasy, we find a guy in a bedroom with a mannequin and a lot of chems and empty beer bottles around him. This guy was having a good time at the end of the world, but there is some ultra rare XL up here. That can be a really nice clutch item. Of course, XL gives you 2 to every stat. That includes endurance, which means it's going to be an instant heal, because when you gain endurance in combat, you just gain that health instantly. So that can be a very clutch item alongside your buff tats and psycho buff to use whenever you take a big hit and you want to make sure you don't die. Still in Concord, a few streets over, another place that a lot of people don't know about is what's called a workhouse. It's right by this Nuka-Cola machine. There's another entrance on the opposite side as well. In here you'll find a rather peculiar scene where a man that's clothed is strangling what appears to be a man that was unclothed over their safe. Maybe the unclothed man was trying to rob them, but why were they unclothed? I'm not sure. I like to make up little stories in my head about this kind of stuff. Maybe this guy was cheating on the wife, who you can find a woman with a duffel bag down below. Maybe they were trying to rob the owner of this workhouse, the husband, and run off after the bombs are going to fall, but I don't know. That's a story I make up for myself. Anyway, there's a safe here. We'll loot the safe, check a duffel bag, and then be on our way. After a bit of inventory sorting, I make my way down south towards Drumlin Diner. We're going to be heading down towards Cambridge and going into the metro system, as I said earlier, and trying to make our way to downtown. But first, we have quite a ways to traverse to get into Cambridge and down in the metro system. There are lots of ghouls along here, along the way, and I would like to take all of them out. They are, I wouldn't say free experience, but they are pretty easy experience once you have power armor, so definitely want to take out every ghoul we can for the experience so we can level up more. There are just so many perks that I want that I can't get yet.
That's it. Hacking this is beyond me.
On my way down, I came across that power armor frame yet again on this military convoy train. I still don't have the hacking level to do this. Unfortunately, I don't have a level either to put into hacking, and I don't really need the armor at this point. I don't see a fusion core in the power armor in there, which is what I'd really want, so it's not really that big of a deal. and I don't have room for anything at this point anyway, so I'll just move on. We can come back to this later, though it's just some T-45. I'm sure I'll find more T-45 armor elsewhere in the Commonwealth, and probably better. Well, literally as I say that, I get a level up from some random dogs out here, but I still don't think I want to spend the points on Hacker Rank 2 just yet. I think getting Gun Nut and getting a better receiver for my handmaid's the priority here. I don't have ammo for anything else, and if I get a heavy receiver on the handmaid, that will be a very nice weapon. We'll find lots of 7.62 ammo for it. That's going to be my priority. I make my way down to Cambridge without any issue, but once I'm here, I find a town that is absolutely filled with feral ghouls. That's good for me, though. I have the armor and the expertise to take care of them. It's going to be a lot of experience. Eventually, after killing a lot of ghouls, I make my way to the Cambridge police station. Of course, in Frost, the Brotherhood of Steel does not even remotely exist yet, so there's not going to be anyone here except for maybe some ghouls or random survivors, but there still should be some static loot that's laying around because Frost doesn't get rid of everything laying around. You also notice we took quite a beating to our power armor. It still is fine. We get a big damage reduction bonus for simply being in power armor, so even if we don't have anything on but the frame, it's still going to be better than anything else we can use. But still, we'll want to look at replacing those pieces eventually.
Sweet. Lock's really strong.
There isn't a ton of loot in here. I mean, there is a lot of loot, but not much of it is useful, and I don't really have very much carry weight. However, next to this skeleton, underneath of a cigar box in this cell, we do find a couple of bobby pins, and because those have been so heavily nerfed, they don't appear very often on survivors or anywhere else, and I don't find bobby pin boxes very often, these are going to be really useful. In fact, I think maybe a change that was made recently to Frost was that instead of getting bobby pin boxes, now you get cigar boxes instead. I'm pretty sure that's why I see a cigar box here and not a bobby pin box. So you're going to find a lot fewer bobby pins now than you used to.
Hello, team. Captain Widmark here. Welcome to the task force. Operation Winter's End starts now, with you. Together, we will knock Eddie Winter off his throne and dump his sorry ass in a 2,000-volt easy chair. It should come as a surprise to no one that our operations in Boston have been, in a word, compromised. Winter has eyes everywhere, even the BPD. So, our brothers across the river in Cambridge have been kind enough to let us use the Cambridge Police Department as our base of operations. Let's get to work. Good hunting.
You will want to get the Eddie Winter holotapes if you play Frost because, well, I won't spoil it, but let's just say you'll want to get them. I finished up looting the Cambridge police station, head outside, found one more feral ghoul, and that was enough to push me over to the next level. And for this level, I decided to invest my second rank into gun nut, so now we can make most heavy receivers on guns, and heavy receivers in Frost are kind of the gold standard. They're really good. They make the gun a bit heavier, but they give you very good damage. They're not too expensive to make, and they're available pretty early on. That's going to help a lot. On the corpse of a dead Federation soldier, I find a decent laser rifle and a curved Ripper. Since I'm going into the tunnels and fighting a bunch of ghouls, I figure the Ripper might not be a bad thing to have. Personally, I'm not as much of a fan of Rippers as other people, but I thought I'd give it a try. This does turn out to be kind of, I wouldn't say a mistake, but I would really prefer not to use a Ripper, I think, in the future. I know a lot of people like it, but personally, I'd much rather just block and then go for a headshot to instantly kill a ghoul. I think that's a lot better way of dealing with them than trying to hit them with the Ripper, which just is really awkward to get headshots on ghouls sometimes, especially in Frost. It's getting pretty late now, and I'm looking for a place to sleep, and to my surprise, there's a nice bed beside this shop in Cambridge, so we can sleep here for the night, then head down into the College Square metro system and start making our way towards downtown in the morning. Well, if the surface of Cambridge was bad, the metro system below is not any better. However, the main difference is that because there's less radiation down here, the ghouls are a bit weaker. They don't regen their health, and they're much easier to take out. I wouldn't even want to try to take out ghouls on the surface with a Ripper because, although it attacks very fast, it doesn't do very much damage per hit, and you're gonna have to fight the regeneration, and that's a pain in the butt. You want to be able to just quickly take out a ghoul after blocking. You don't want to have to mess around with these constant hits from this thing. There are two ways you can go to exit the Cambridge metro system, the College Square system that is. One goes south towards downtown, and one goes north towards Lexington. We do not want to go toward Lexington, but I don't know which way is which. I'm not sure if the compass points true directionally in terms of which way is which here. I think it actually does, so if you want to go south, you should try to go towards the door that is when you're facing south. But I tried this one first, and apparently it is the wrong way. The ghoul here should have been my first tip-off, the big glowing bloated ghoul, because that's kind of an indication that we're heading into a very heavily irradiated area. And I know that the area between Lexington and Cambridge has a track that has a whole bunch of nuclear material on it. There's a train that just is full of nuclear material, and that's why the ghouls here are so strong. In fact, going through that area is very, very ill-advised. There are lots of ghouls down there, but man, the radiation is terrible. A really weird issue with melee, and with the Ripper in particular seems really susceptible to it, is that if there's a corpse below your feet and you're trying to attack someone in front of you, often because the melee damage can only hit like one thing at a time, it will prioritize the thing below you for some reason, and you'll end up just kind of using your melee weapon against the corpse the entire time instead of using it against the target that you want to use it against. So you have to like back up and reposition to make use of weapons. It's really, really odd and awkward. I hope they improve this for Fallout 5. This is, by the way, an entirely new area created by Frost. It's sort of one of the transitional areas between the different metro systems because they're all connected in one way or another in Frost. Really, really cool that they were able to do this. I love the idea of a totally connected underground. After exploring around a bit more down here, I quickly realize this is not the way that I want to go. This will lead me to Lexington, so I turn around and make my way back to the door that I came in from, and make my way through College Square again and find the other exit which takes me the way I want to go. Here I find a large group of ferals, what I can only describe as a horde, as well as some burn piles. This is where the Federation was trying to exterminate many of the ferals that were here, and fun note, Federation and Alliance both don't discriminate between ghouls and feral ghouls. They just burn them all because they assume that ghouls are going to be turned into feral ghouls very soon, which does have some merit if they absorb enough rads. Sometimes they do turn feral. It seems to be kind of random though, nobody knows what's going on. It's kind of like what would happen in the zombie apocalypse, where if you get bit, you're going to be guaranteed to turn into a zombie, so better just kill them then and there rather than having to deal with them later. My power armor is in pretty rough shape at this point. I've taken quite a beating because I'm using the Ripper and I'm taking more hits than I normally would, although I still would be taking hits on my armor even when I'm blocking because that's how it works, so I don't know. But my power armor is not in great shape. We'll have to look for some replacement pieces once we get to downtown and can go up on the surface. Because this is a rather large horde of ferals, I tried to set some mines here, but it just didn't work. They didn't want to run over them. They just kind of looked at me. For whatever reason, their pathing did not want to come towards me, so I had to end up going a bit further up and just fighting them that way. On this Dead Federation soldier, we find Wilhelm's journal. This is one of the quest items that we need in order to gain access to downtown by talking to one of the commanders in a side tunnel. We'll want to keep that for later and turn it in. In the next area along the metro line, we find, you guessed it, more feral ghouls. Looks like someone here put up one hell of a fight. but unfortunately they did not live to tell the tale. Going to be honest, not my finest work, but at least they're dead. But at this point, my power armor is shot to hell. My health is low, I have a lot of radiation. I do have supplies to take care of that stuff, but I'd like to have a bed to sleep in before I do that. So let's see if we can make our way into downtown. In the access tunnels just outside of downtown, we find a ghoul couple, still sane, but clearly outcast by the Federation. If they find them, they will surely kill them. They're not immediately hostile, but they're quite wary of us, as they should be. If I were them, I would assume that I was a Federation soldier come to cleanse them.
Leave me alone!
Past the survivors and up the stairs, we find a novice locked door, which leads into a metro area where the Metro Federation is finally found. At least some of them. Though our reception here is not exactly a friendly one, as the man in charge immediately calls us a dump ass for having something over our face. I guess because we don't need to have a gas mask on when we're down here.
Dump ass, get the mask off your face. This is a restricted area.
I think they just want to make sure we're not a ghoul, though.
You, what are you doing here? This is a restricted area.
Actually, I think I have something already.
Good. What did you find?
He died fighting for the Commonwealth. He's a hero in anyone's book.
Yes. He was good.
What are you looking for?
Anything good that can help us anticipate aliens' terrorist next move.
After speaking with him, he accepts Wilhelm's journal as part 1 of a quest. The second part we need is from an Alliance guy that we find dead outside of downtown. After retrieving that journal as well and bringing it to him, he will give us the key to downtown. So we head back down the stairs the way we came, past those 2 ghoul survivors, down this metro line, and towards the end of it, we find an empty metro train with the exception of 1 dead Alliance soldier, and on that Alliance soldier, we find plans that he was planning to send back to his comrades. We take this back and give it to the commander, and he will give us the key to downtown.
Actually, I think I...
Good.
Sounds like an important mission.
Good.
Uh-huh. Is this enough to convince you?
We're getting less.
Sure. Bye.
Good.
With the upper blue line gate key, we now have access to downtown. There is a bar here that restocks its booze every day. You can get about 8 to 10 sandy for a couple $100 every day there. It also has food if you want and a bed. Also, I have a mod that links every workbench in the downtown area together. There is a workbench of every type available down here, so it functions kind of like a settlement if you don't have a Lone Wanderer perk, and it's very convenient because it's right by all the vendors anyway. After stashing some of my gear and junk, I head over to Ciampa's bar to get a drink, and who do I hear but a very familiar voice as soon as I walk in?
Good to see you, my friend. So, did you find anything out?
Listen, I questioned every soldier and I didn't find anything. You're not going to find anything.
If anyone can survive that, that's Eddie Winter. Oh, I ought to make sure.
If you insist on going through with this, go find some real evidence.
You sure you're remembering that right?
You shouldn't. This is a waste of time. You've wasted enough of my time.
Yes, it is none other than the real Nick Valentine, not the synth, but the actual detective. In Frost, he survived the bombs and is getting a drink at Ciampa's bar down here in downtown.
Hi.
Not only that, but he is trying to track down Eddie Winter, similar to the synth who tried to track him down in the main game. Of course, you can track him down in the main game, and you can also do that here in Frost, and he offers you a very heavy reward if you're able to do so.
Let's see about this.
Excuse me.
What can I get you?
After a bit of rest and booze at Ciampa's to recover some sanity, I head up towards the surface to see where this comes out at. Before we head up, I stop by the local arms dealer, Ozzy, and I find on him a rather nice combat rifle that has a 308 receiver. That is the best receiver, although it does change the ammo type to 308, which is more rare. It does do the most damage. It's rather pricey, but I scarf some chems and go ahead and buy it. I have the money and will want to get this, and I don't know when I'll see one of these again. To pay for this rather expensive purchase, I check underneath of the train car where we found the Alliance soldier who was dead, and underneath of here you'll find an easy novice locked container that contains a bunch of Maynukes and a fusion mine. The fusion mine I'll keep, that's a great find, but the Maynukes are rather heavy, so I'll sell one or two of those and get my money back from Big Ozzy. After that, I take the Valenti Station exit from downtown, which goes into Valenti Station, where we will find a couple of Alliance soldiers that have breached the surface and are trying to infiltrate the station, who are quickly taken out by some Federation soldiers. Unfortunately for these Federation soldiers, there's nothing really stopping me from just killing them, and they have pretty nice gear, including a flamer, so sorry guys, but I want your stuff.
Come back here, damn it!
Find him!
Something's out there. Don't think I won't hurt you. Not hiding this time.
I have no idea what happened there. Some kind of weird bug with clipping somehow. The bullets were just not connecting in a weird way, but okay. They're all dead. We get all their stuff. There's a bunch of money, some chems, and of course we get to loot on the soldiers here as well. There's no effect to this. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you can send these guys up and have them do missions for you. I don't think it's really worth it. I'd rather just kill them and get the gear early on. That's kind of my style. You know, it's evil, yes, but like I said in the start of this, we do whatever we can to survive. After a bit more inventory management, it's finally time for us to head topside. We've come out at the northeastern end of Boston on the Valenti Station exit. This is right on the coast, and there is some stuff I want immediately around here. There are some feral ghouls in the way, but that's not a problem. We really need to get our power armor kind of restocked because everything except for our helmet is pretty much busted, so I'd rather just get new power armor as opposed to repairing this one because I don't really have the materials to repair it, and it'll just be easier to just get new stuff. And as fate would have it, there is a set of power armor locked behind an expert hacking computer just over here to the northeast of the Valenti Station exit. So we'll go and grab that and take the pieces back down, wear what we can without going over the 350 limit, and then we'll be able to continue our adventures. As it turns out, I can wear everything except for the torso, and that will bring me to just below the 350 damage resist maximum that we cannot surpass if we want to keep our power armor training intact. So I bring the torso back down and deposit it along with some other stuff I scavenged on the surface into the workbenches down here, and now I finally feel like we're really home. We really have a home we can come back to and craft things onto. We have an infinite supply of booze as long as we have the money to pay for that booze. We have a bed we can sleep in here. We're right in the middle of the map, which is excellent. So at this point, I feel like it's just time for us to get as much experience as we can, which is going to mean in the next episode going through the tunnels, clearing out more ghouls, getting more loot, getting more levels, and eventually we'll be strong enough that we can go and head over and challenge the U.S. Army remnants at Fort Haken and get the better power armor training, and at that point we can use any power armor in the game and we'll be really set.